Hey, John, what are you doing here? Welcome to the shop. Come on in.
Come on in, John. What's up, guys?
How are you? So this is the 1 year and 1 month at this point.
Yeah.
Shop update, new shop tour. Someone in the comments asked to see a shop tour, so we're doing it for you.
This is it.
This is the office. This is the one area of the shop that we haven't touched at all. I don't think anyone's touched it since the 70s, as you can see from these drapes. But we'll show you the part that you really want to see. This eventually will become maybe not so much a showroom, but an office where we have pieces that we've built, you know, that we can have clients come in and they'll be able to see some things that we've made. So
Yeah.
right when you walk into the shop, you have this giant clamp rack right here. We originally built this to be mobile, thinking that we might drag it around the shop. You have to keep in mind that we moved in here from 800 square feet into 5,000, and we were very hesitant to make anything too permanent. So some of the things that you're going to see are still sort of in their first iteration. They haven't made it to like a final design, this being one of them. So we had this thing out here. It basically didn't move for an entire year. And just like maybe 2 weeks ago, we said, why don't we just shove this thing up against the wall here? Because it was really blocking the path in and out of the office. So this is where we keep all of our clamps. Here we have a relatively new addition to the shop. We've had this for maybe less than 6 months.
Yeah.
It's our spray booth. We bought this used from a guy, Paradigm Woodworks, up in North Jersey, if you're watching. Really, really nice guy. It's a 7x8 by 5 foot deep open face spray booth. You know, it has a 24-inch fan. We're not venting outside. A, because we're not going to put a 24-inch hole in the roof, and B, because we only spray waterborne finishes, so we're not worried about fumes and everything. So this has worked out great. The interior venting has worked out really well. So we're doing all of our spraying here. We moved exclusively to sprayed finishes because now we have a place to do it and we have the space to lay everything out. So we just put in these cabinets last week and this week. So we're moving all of our finishing stuff over to here. Added some lighting over here because it was really dark. So this is where we'll have all of our finishing equipment. Gets it out of the area over there that we'll show you shortly, and frees up some space over there for some other stuff. Have our 5 horsepower Oneida Super Dust Gorilla over here. So this is one of 3 dust collectors that we're running right now. This is another thing where, you know, we weren't sure what direction we were going to go with dust collection, if we're going to move to a central system. So right now we're running 3, still trying to figure out after a year, you know, exactly what we're going to do.
Yeah, this one's just hooked up to the table saws right now, right?
Yeah, this is just on 2 cabinet saws, and the hose is still laying on the ground a year later. We're a little bit indecisive. So moving over to here, this is the laser Boss LS 1630. So this is a 16 by 30 by 105 watt CO2 laser. This is where we make the salt boxes, and you may have seen that video on John's channel. We're getting ready to start another batch of 500, and actually all that material is right here. So each and every one of these will become a salt cellar. So there's 560 pieces here, some extras for screw-ups. So those will be fed into the laser, and we're going to take it a little slower this time. Next to the laser is the compressor. This is a Quincy 7.5 horsepower, 2-stage compressor. Puts out, I think, 24 CFM, 22 CFM, something like that. Great compressor. We got it for a song. Somebody was getting rid of it, and we got it for about half of retail. It was basically brand new. And actually today this arrived. This is, hate to say, from Harbor Freight. This is a refrigerated air dryer. So basically the air from the compressor when you have a two-stage compressor, the air is being compressed so much it creates a lot of heat, which in turn creates condensation. So we don't want the condensation to make it into our tools. So we have this dryer that will cool the air down and dry it out before it makes it into the system. This is that finishing area that we were talking about. Everything is up on the top now because we're getting ready to move it over into those new cabinets, but we're doing all the mixing of finishes here and filling of the gun and storing all of our little doodads that go with finishing here, which is not really a great spot because we're finishing over there. So we're going to be moving that over next to the booth, and we can buy some more junk to put inside these drawers. But we have plenty of stuff that, that's sort of over that way that we're ready to bring this way. Have our drill press over here. This is the Nova Voyager. So all digitally controlled, variable speed, smart drill press they call it. Really like this thing. We don't need like a super accurate, super smart drill press, but we wanted it, so we bought it. It's worked out great. Rather than needing to know all of these different speeds for different materials and bits, this thing just tells you. So it makes our life real easy. I have one of our sub panels. I have the Omal Insert C hinge boring machine that you may have seen the video on. This thing's great. Laser guided. Really nice machine. This is where we keep the lamello. I think this is still empty.
Yeah.
Our plan was to turn this into a dust catch for the pocket hole machine, which you see here. This is a Porter Cable production pocket cutter that we're messing around with still. This pneumatic clamping and dust collection. So we need to close up the bottom because although we have dust collection here on the side, the bottom is still open. This is I don't want to call it the big dust collector, but this is
our pride and joy.
Yeah, this thing has been, sometimes you buy something off of Facebook Marketplace and it just turns into a big pain in your butt. This has been that. So this is a 5 horsepower, 2-bag setup from Grizzly. And we've changed these filter bags to a finer filter, and we changed the plastic bags to barrels, and we're just using the old bags as this sort of intermediate thing, sock. I don't know what you would call it. So the dust, the chips fall down. And we recently put an IVAC contactor and switch on there, so we finally have remote on and off for this, which we've been trying to figure out how to do for the last, 6 to 8 months. Yeah. So we finally have a couple of remotes for this, which is great because we had to walk from the Streebig all the way over here, any of these tools that are on this dust collector, all the way over here to turn this on and off. This is our line boring machine, Detail MV23P. Bits provided by Tools Today. MV23P. So this is a 23 spindle line boring machine. So these are 5mm cutters on 32mm centers. So these drill, you can see the holes here, for our shelf pins as well as our hinges. Because the setback is the proper setback for the hinges, we can put a hinge plate in any of these 2 holes and it works out perfectly. This is a nice machine. We got this used for $600, which was a really good deal. Yeah. We had to drive all the way to Wildwood to pick it up, which is kind of a hike, but
it was a good day.
Yeah, and it's very top heavy. So there's all of this metal up here in this motor, and then you can see the legs are just these spindly little sheet metal legs. But yeah, getting this in and out of the van without the forklift was not easy. Our old hinge boring machine, which our buddy is coming to pick up at some point. Here's the edge bander. This is a Sahisa compact PCS. So this we got from our buddies at RT Machine. We purchased this in, I think, March of 2023, and it's been great. So the adhesives are really nice. Edge banders are made in Spain, and for the money, you get a lot of value. So this has pre-milling, all of your typical trimming. It has a spray setup, so it sprays an anti-stick coating as the board is fed in. It sprays a cleaning agent at the end, so when the buffers hit, it actually cleans any excess glue off. It's been really good, and couldn't be happier with it. Next to that is the Strebig. So this is a Strebig compact 5x10 vertical panel saw, and we were the lucky winners of the Win a Strebig contest from Colonial Saw. So big thank you to them. We love this thing. We just filmed a video cutting a big butcher block on it. This will cut anything. It's a nice 5 horsepower direct drive, 10-inch blade in there. So it'll literally cut anything.
It's dead accurate.
Yeah, it cuts within 5 thou, which is more than enough for us. So we have our cantilever rack here with most of the plywood, and you can see we have some stored on the floor as well. And then we have our hardwood storage there. Forklift, 1989 Clark electric forklift. Same year I was born. This has been great. We have a new side shift cylinder coming. That's the only issue we've really had with it. She's definitely seen better days, but we don't have to use the forklift a ton. So this has been a great value for us, and really, the best tool to have. This is like the dream tool. If you could have a forklift, makes loading and unloading stuff so much easier. So we're very, very happy to have this. So we're lucky enough to be able to keep the van inside of the shop, and you could see this is a loading, or quote unquote loading dock from the old shop. So this sat on a concrete pad, and we were able to back the van up to it. We actually built this to unload the laser, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
When we got the laser, we had the LTL truck drop the lift gate, and we slid it into I don't know if it was the van or my truck. Or no, it was that little trailer. We had this little Harbor Freight 4x8 trailer. So we built this so that we could basically drag the laser off of it. Again, having a forklift is amazing. So now we just use it to load the van in and out, which is
easier to walk up than sometimes take that step up the bumper.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Saves your knees going in and out. And this is another thing where now we're gonna make a new one that's a little bit longer and maybe has like a folding part so that we can get it a little further up into the van. We have the miter saw cart that we built and have plans for. So you could build this if you'd like. Mobile miter saw station with a Harbor Freight stand. There's so much to show. We have the planer. This is a Powermatic PM, is it PM15HH?
Yeah.
It's a 15HH, whatever I don't know what the
helical head.
Yeah, so it's a 15-inch helical head planer. We got this when we got that lemon from another company, and we were in a bit of a bind. We had to buy what was available, so we'd like to have a 20 or bigger, but this has worked out well. We haven't really been hurting for a wider planer. Have the Oliver joiner, 10-inch helical head. We put a Shelix in here. You may have seen our video on joining, where we talk a little bit more about this, but this has served us very well. 10 inches is a pretty good size. We sort of skipped over the bandsaw. There's not much to see over there. It's 17-inch Grizzly bandsaw. That's on the list of things that we'd like to upgrade. I have our wide belt sander here. So you can see this is what a belt looks like. So there's 16 by 48, and it's an open-ended. So we can sand pieces. I think the total capacity is 15, so like 30 inches wide. You could send it through. It's fully open here. So This is a lifesaver. We run basically everything through this, when we're milling solid stock. What else? We have our cabinet saws over here. 3 horsepower SawStop ICS. So this is the industrial. If you're gonna buy a SawStop, I think that you should spend the money, spend a little bit more and get the industrial series. Has a bigger table and it's just built solid. I mean, this is a great cabinet saw. Some people get hung up on the technology and they think it's sort of a gimmick, but even if this didn't have the SawStop technology, we would buy this saw because it's, imagine like an old Unisaw that you can't find that quality anymore. This is like that. But we have a Unisaw as well. So this is a 3 horsepower Delta X5. So I think this is from what, like the 90s, 80s, 90s maybe. This is our dado saw. We were using it as like a rip saw for a little while, but we found that really we had more of a need for dado. So we keep a dado stack on here. That way we don't have to put it on. It's just on there all the time. Typically we have like a 1/2 inch or a 3/8 on there. I have a 3/4 inch on there now. The benches are over here. This is Rob's bench with this nice soft close bypass doors on here right now. We have our shaper, Oliver 5 horsepower shaper, and the HS 950 from Hammer. This is a 6x100 inch edge sander. Did a video on this. This has been great. Rob, I know he can't wait to get back on it and sand those salt.
Another 500 boxes.
Yeah, that's coming up. So that's why we bought this, is to sand those salt cellars, and it does a great job.
Yeah, the dust collection is really nice on this machine.
Yeah, it helps the sandpaper from getting overloaded, and although don't look at what's on there now because we're doing some
abusive work.
Yeah, some things we shouldn't have with it, but yeah, the oscillation, the dust collection, everything. This is a great sander. For the money, I don't think that you could find a better sander. Yeah, I don't know. What else? Do we have anything else?
No, I mean the shaper and the power feeder, our carts.
Yeah, we have plenty of rolling tables, sawhorses. We have an A-frame cart. We have a tilting panel cart. 2 lumber carts, drying racks. Having things on wheels is huge.
Yeah. As you're creating parts, you need places to put them.
And you need to be able to move them easily. So even in a small shop, keeping things mobile might even be even more important in a small shop, is having the ability to move things easily.
So you go from station to station.
Yeah, which is something that we dealt in the old shop, having to move things around to access certain machines. So, yeah, that's the shop. I mean, it's changed quite a bit in the last year. I'm sure if you came back in 6 months or another year, it'd be much different. We're always trying to figure out how to do things more efficiently, better, faster. So, it's a constant.
It's an evolution.
Yeah. Well, we
What
hope
do
you
you
liked. We hope you liked the shop tour. Yeah, let us know what you think. If you'd like to see any of these tools more closely, we could do a video on a specific tool. If anyone's interested, just let us know. And make sure to follow us on Instagram. And you should check out our podcast, the American Craftsman podcast. And I think tell your friends is the most important thing. I said that before, but if you're enjoying the channel, let your friends know because they might not know about it and they might enjoy it. So thanks.
Take care.